Hello, Ice and Fire nerds. This is Chris, and welcome back to another House of the Dragon video. And yes, this time I have a little theory for you. For the past few weeks on the live streams, I've mentioned a theory that's kind of been boiling in my head. Nothing profound or groundbreaking necessarily, but this will be a show-only theory. So I promised you guys I'd drop a little video about it, so here we go. Why did the Iron Throne go from what it looks like in House of the Dragon with all the extra swords, a little more book accurate, obviously not completely. In the books, it's a large, monstrous thing that has to be climbed. It's giant and literally contains thousands of swords. But for the show, of course, they're clearly creating some kind of show-only canon, as we saw last week when they confirmed that those eggs that Rhaena was taking to Essos, I believe it was going to end up being Daenerys' eggs from Game of Thrones. So they're linking these two shows in several different ways. We saw the Cat's Paw Dagger, the whole Song of Ice and Fire thread going through this series as well, where the Cat's Paw that ends up killing the Night King was originally Aegon the Conqueror's. He had dreams, they kind of retconned that kind of stuff. So anyway, there's clearly a separate kind of a show canon going on. So this is a theory that would be based on the show only, not in the books. Obviously, Fire and Blood is written like a history book. We don't know how exactly things happen, and that's what makes House of the Dragon so exciting. Anyway, I'm rambling long enough. This will contain spoilers to a couple characters, so if you don't want to know anything that's going to happen in the next few episodes, perhaps maybe this season, I believe, in House of the Dragon, don't watch this video, come back and watch it later. This will spoil a couple characters and what's going to happen to them as far as their fates. So, give you a second to click out if you want to, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1... Okay, spoilers. So, again, why did the Iron Throne, with them connecting these shows like that with all these subtle things, and some are cool and some are questionable, like the Dragon Eggs, for example, why does the Iron Throne look like it does now versus in Game of Thrones, which is 160-something years later? Clearly, the chair's been stripped down, all the swords around the Iron Throne are gone, and there's quite a few swords missing from the chair itself. So why is that the case? I don't know. Maybe they won't explain it at all. But again, this is just a little theory of mine. Been thinking about it for a couple weeks, and I've kind of teased it on the live stream. So some of you guys probably know where I'm going with this. But of course, this involves Helaena Targaryen. As you know, we just saw Blood and Cheese, the horrific scene where her son Jaehaerys was killed. And in the book version, she chose her son Maelor because he was the youngest. She didn't really know what to do in that situation, clearly. But they just decided to kill Jaehaerys anyway. So Jaehaerys, I believe, is the only kid left in the show. I don't think they're including Maelor in the show at all. But the point being that it went down slightly different, but either way, in the book, of course, she does end up going mad. Now, specifically, she rides Dreamfire. She's a dragon rider. She does actually go to battle. But after the death of Jaehaerys, and specifically after Aegon, her husband and the current king, Aegon II, gets injured in battle, I won't go into too much detail there. They start sleeping in separate rooms. She falls into a depression. And the bottom line is she ends up throwing herself off of the Red Keep down into the moat where the spikes are below. And, of course, impales herself on the spikes below the Red Keep. That's how it goes down, apparently, in the books. Again, we have 3 different testimonies from the book, so we don't know exactly the way it happened, but we do know it did happen. So I think for the show, the way they connect this is that Helaena does the same thing, only she impales herself on the Iron Throne itself or the swords around the Iron Throne. So I think perhaps instead of jumping off the Red Keep into the pit below with all the spikes, perhaps she jumps off that balcony that overlooks the Iron Throne and lands on the swords there, or maybe even just kind of leaps onto them from the floor, whatever it may be, and that is where she impales and kills herself. But of course, the Battle of Rook's Rest is where Aegon gets injured, if I remember correctly, so that should be fairly soon, maybe even next episode, so we'll see. Anyway, so there's my little theory. I think that at some point that she will, I should probably say, self-delete for YouTube. And that's where she's going to do it, as the Iron Throne. And then somebody, whether it's Aegon or maybe Aegon III, after all this goes down, I think somebody will have all those extra swords removed because it is a very dangerous chair in the first place. A lot of kings have cut themselves on it. Maegor the Cruel died on the damn throne. Dany's father, Aerys II, was called King Scab. He cut himself so much on the Iron Throne. And of course, we saw Viserys in season 1 with a little foreshadowing there when he cut his finger on the Iron Throne as well. So it's a damn dangerous chair anyway, and a very, very bad idea, although very cool in concept. But I think for the show, that would be a good way, again, to connect the shows. I think that would be a good way to do it and explain why the Iron Throne ends up the way it does in Game of Thrones. So anyway, that's it. That's my little theory. I don't know if anybody else has thought of that or whatever. Maybe it's out there somewhere. I just thought it'd be a good way for them to connect the two shows, House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support on Patreon, all the new channel members, all that good stuff as well. Really appreciate the support. And we'll see you guys next Sunday for House of the Dragon, Episode 4, A Dance of Dragons.